Hello everyone, how are you? It's good to see you back again. We are now in week 3 and still with me, Miss Mona Lisa Pasaribu. I'm going to bring the video for this week for English 2 for Diploma 3, KU31201. So the topic for this week is still about the technology, as I mentioned to you in the beginning of our semester. And for this week, we will talk about digital technology. Okay, so let's check the material for this week. So as you can see, our agenda for this video is going to be a quick review, and then we will talk about the topic for week 3, which is about digital technology. And for this video for this week, the objective is for students, for you to be able to transfer the ideas or information from text to picture, and the other way around. So transfer the information from the picture or diagrams to a text. Okay, so that's the aim or the objective for this week's material. So as a review for this week, the activity is for you to give a summary from what you have learned in week 1 and week 2 for this semester. Okay, so week 1 we were talking about the topic about studying technology, and for this week, last week we were talking about ways into technology. So from these two topics and from the grammar that we have discussed for these 2 weeks, how have you progressed, and do you actually have something to ask or something that you don't understand? Okay, so post your answer for this review question in our YouTube comment, and later we will have a look during our practicum session. Yeah, so that's the activity for our review. Now, as a warm-up activity, there are 4 questions that I list over here, which is something related to our topic about digital technology, whether you're actually involved in activities related to digital technology or not. So we have over here, how often do you use a computer? And then what do you use the computer for? And then what problems do you have when you are using the computers? And then what things can you name that contain some kinds of computer in it? So like, I cannot give you an example, but think of these questions, and then for the answers, I want you to post the answers in our discussion forum in eCourse for week 3. Okay, so post your answer for this warm-up question in our eCourse forum for week 3. And then for another thing that I want to ask you to do, this is for only for individual task, and I'm not going to collect this in YouTube or in eCourse. But for this one, it's actually for yourself, whether you actually know something related to IT. Even if you're still in the first semester, which I think everybody will know this answer. Okay, so there are 3 questions over here. We have a printer is a type of software. Is it true or false? A computer uses its CPU to think. And then a bug is a mistake in a computer program that causes a problem with the software. So think of these statements and then check whether you actually agree or you think it's true or false. Yeah, so that's one of the activities for checking your knowledge. The other one is, I want you to identify the group of words over here and the devices mentioned in each group. And I want you to cross out the wrong word or the one that is misplaced in each group. Okay, and if you actually know which place, which group this word belongs to, then you can actually put it in the right place. Okay, so these are the 2 tasks for checking your knowledge about digital technology, which I think it's quite easy considering that you are an IT and a computer technology student. So I think it's going to be a piece of cake activity for you. So now we will talk about the topic, the topic about the reading, which one of the readings is about wireless technology. So have a look at this reading, everyone, and then after that, what I want you to read it and then answer this question. Okay, so there are 5 comprehension question, and I want you to have a look and then read and answer this question. Okay, all of this information you can all of the answer for these questions are provided in the text. And the other thing that as a follow-up activity is this is for yourself. Which do you prefer? Is it LAN or Wi-Fi, and why? And then what are the other technologies which are using wireless connection? I think as an IT and computer engineering student, you must be able to answer this question. Okay, now we will talk about how to present ideas in a diagram, and this is actually one main objective for this week's activity. Okay, so how to present ideas in a diagram. There are 3 things that I list over here. The first thing that you need to do is to put the keywords only. So after you read text. Okay, and if the text is quite long, then it is quite unlikely to a writer to transfer all of the information into a diagram, because obviously the diagram won't fit, and then the readers won't be happy to read it, and it will be too overwhelming for everyone to read and to write it. Okay, so the best thing to do is to list down, put the keywords only. Okay, so the keywords for the important things that you want to present to the readers. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second one is for you to draw a flow chart according to the text. So if the text is about procedural, then obviously you need to mention it step by step. And then the other thing is you need to make sure that the ideas are presented in a incorrect order, because obviously when you are presenting a procedural text and you don't have and the ideas are presented in a wrong way, and that is misleading text. Okay, so the readers won't get the correct answer if the presentation of ideas in the diagram is also wrong. Okay, so that is those are 3 things that you need to know when you want to present ideas in a diagram. Okay, so first of all, you put the keywords only, because you don't want to overwhelm the readers with too much information in the diagram. And then after that, you draw the flowchart and then make sure that the ideas are presented in a correct order. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Because in our activity for this week, you're going to have a presentation of this diagram. Okay, so you're extracting the information from a text, and then later you will present the diagram, and then and then you put the information into a diagram, and then later you will present the diagram. Okay, so obviously you won't say the same as what is stated in the text, because you already reproduced the text in your own words. Okay, so yeah, so that will be something that I'm going to ask. I want to see from students for this week. So if you go to our material for this week, I actually show you an example of a text about a procedure of how email works. Okay, so there's a sender composes an email, and then there's the email text and attachment are uploaded to SMTP, and then after that it goes to the email received to the recipient. Okay, and then the flowchart is something like this. Okay, so that is the transfer of information from picture to a text, or the other way around. Okay, so it's pretty much just in the same activity. So before we go to the exercise, I want you to check your understanding on the text there are four questions that is given here, that are given here for as a comprehension question. Okay, so the first one, how many pieces are involved during the email sending, and then what is SMTP and DNS, and then what happens if the recipient server is found, and what happens if the recipient server is not found. Okay, so answer these questions, and then we will check the answer in our practicum session later. So now we will talk about our exercise, which is about transferring the information from a text to a diagram. Okay, so I want you to go to the reading that I have provided in our campus information system about hardware and software. So after you have read the text, I also want you to do an individual comprehension check by listing down some information that you think is necessary to be put in a diagram. Okay, so this by listing down the keywords or the important information, you will be able to to transfer this information into a diagram. Okay, so that is one good way before you one good activity for you before you practice transferring the information into the diagram or a picture. And then after you read the text, what I want you to do is to extract all the information, the important ones, and then after that put it into keywords, and then start drawing a diagram from the reading text, and then after that explain it. So first of all, draw a diagram from the text about hardware and software, and then after that explain it in a form of video presentation. So this is only for an activity for you, and then later in our practicum you're going to play this video, and your friends are going to give assessment to your presentation, which is in a form of peer review. Okay, so peer review is quite a famous assessment activity done by mates or friends in a classroom. So they will later assess your presentation and according to this criteria. So the first one is the idea explanation, and then the second one is the grammar, and then the organization and coherency. Okay, so there will be four also division: excellent, good, satisfactory, and then need improvement. So for this one, later in our practicum, so I'm going to call some students to show their video presentation. So you record it first, and then you play the recording later in our practicum, and then the other friends will do assessment towards your video presentation based on this rubric. Okay, and then later they will also give feedback if possible, and before I give the feedback to you. Yeah, so this activity is also to help you to be able to speak English outside the class. So I really hope that this can motivate you in speaking English outside the classroom. Okay, so that's for the activity for this week, everyone. And for next week, we will talk about the topic of technology in sport. I know we have talked about e-sport in last semester, but for this semester, we will specifically look at the implementation of technology in sport. Okay, so and then we will talk about the some grammars related to the technology in sport. Okay, so that would bring me to the end of my video, everyone. Here are the references for our material for this week. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our practicum session. Goodbye, everyone, and have a good day. Bye.